We're going to start sitting on our heels. Close your eyes and relax your shoulders down away from your ears. Soften the belly and guide your breath all the way down to your sitting bones, feeling your weight going down as you exhale. Now bring your attention to your lower belly and your pelvic floor area. We're going to be engaging a lot through this area today to help us lift up and engage into our arm balance crow pose, peak pose of today's practice. Take a nice deep breath in and a breath out. Place your hands in prayer over your heart, bow your chin down, gently open your eyes here. When you're ready on your next inhale, lift your hands up overhead, reach through your fingertips, and then as you exhale, release your hands in front of you on your mat, extend them towards the edge of the mat, releasing your hips back onto your heels. Find your breath. Inhale, look between your hands, and as you exhale, walk to your right side. Walk your hands to your right side. Feeling a nice deep stretch in your left body, guiding the breath to your side ribs. Inhale here, come back to center slowly. And as you exhale, just walk your hands to your left side, guiding your breath into your right ribs, right side body. Inhale, come back to center. Gentle movements. You can even still keep the eyes closed here if you feel comfortable with that. And come up. Inhale, reach your hands over your head, stretch up, lift up. Exhale, hands in prayer over the heart. Once again, inhale, lift up, soften the shoulders down. Now take a hold of your left wrist and lean towards your right side, feeling a nice stretch in your side body, keeping the sitting bones grounding evenly into the ground. Inhale to center and swap sides, leaning to your left, to a nice side bend here. Inhale, come back to center and move your hands in front of you. Come into tabletop position, all fours, aligning your knees with your hips and your wrists with your shoulders. Inhale here, drop your belly, look ahead of you, lift your sitting bones. Exhale, round through the spine and move your hips back onto your heels. Inhale, come up to all fours, arch the spine, look ahead of you, move the shoulder blades back. Exhale, round through the spine and sit back. Inhale, come up, arch the spine, look ahead of you. Exhale, round and sit back. Moving like a wave. Inhale in your own time. Come up, arch the spine, exhale, round and sit back. Few more just like this. Connect your movement with your breath. And again. Inhale, arch the spine, last one. Exhale, round and sit back. Inhale, now come onto your all fours, find a neutral position. Now we're going to warm up the wrists. So you're going to turn your wrist so your palm is facing up and your fingertips are pointing towards you. And press into the mat. And then move your palms down and point your fingertips towards each other. Now start moving your shoulders in a circle over your wrist. So you're moving to your right side, forward, then to your left and back. A few more just like this. And swap sides. We want to warm up our wrist for today's crow pose. It's very important not to skip the warm-up. Now move your fingertips outside, palms are facing down, and move from left to right. And then move your hands in, palms are facing up. And then sit back and just give your hands and wrists a little shake. Come back to all fours, tuck your toes under and lift your hips up and back. Keep your knees bent for your first downward facing dog. So bend the knees a little bit so you can open your sitting bones up towards the ceiling, finding the straight spine. Grip your fingertips into the mat to find a nice grip so you can send some weight into your hands and ascend your heels towards the back. Bend the knees, pedal the legs. Move your hips from side to side. One more breath here, and then look between your hands and start walking your feet to the front of your mat into a forward fold position. You can bend your knees as much as you need to. So you can just kind of hang from your hips and relax your upper body here. Now start shifting your weight to the front and back, from side to side, moving your hips in the circle. Now hug your elbows so it helps you with gravity to give a little more weight into this forward fold. Inhale, come to halfway lift, straight spine. From here, exhale, fold again. Inhale, hands onto your shins. Halfway lift, straight spine. Exhale, fold. Now press into your feet and come all the way up as you inhale. Stretch up, hands overhead. Exhale, hands over the heart. Let it flow now. Inhale, lift your hands up. Reach up, stretch the belly, and exhale, hinge from the hips, come all the way down, bend the knees if needed. Inhale, straight spine, extend the heart forward. Exhale, plant the hands, step it back into plank. Now move your shoulders over your wrists and back. Hug everything into the midline, engage your belly. Plank pose. Few more times like this, and then find your center into the plank, engage the belly, and start to move your shoulders together and apart. We just want to warm up our hands and our wrists properly here. Engage your lower belly, and then come all the way down onto the floor. Extend your toes back, press into the ground with your hips and toes. Inhale, lift up into cobra, extend your heart forward. Exhale, tuck your toes under, downward facing dog. Lift your hips up and back. Let's do some abdominals here. So look between your hands, come onto your tippy toes, and round through the upper back, moving your shoulder blades over the wrist as you inhale. And then as you exhale, lift from your lower belly and lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. And again, 4 more like this. Inhale, high plank. Work with your lower belly. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, high plank. Really moving from your core here. Find the heat. Exhale, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, move forward. Exhale, lift your hips up and back. Inhale, high plank. Now move your shoulders forward and back, squeezing your belly in. 2 more times. Then exhale, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Look between your hands and step or hop to the front of your mat. If you're hopping, use your lower belly. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Press into the feet and come all the way up. Inhale. And exhale, hands to heart center. Now bend your knees, lower your hips, sit back into chair pose, Utkatasana. Lift up, Inhale, and as you exhale, fold down. Plant your hands and shift your weight into your hands and start leaning forward with your hips and coming onto your tippy toes. Just a few times, shifting the weight into your hands and back. Then bend your knees and place your knees to your armpits and start leaning forward and back here. So we are mimicking a crow pose. So our body gets used to it. Few more times, just like this. And then lift your hips up into forward fold. Plant your hands. Inhale, lift through the spine. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands and step back into plank. Exhale, lower down onto your belly. Inhale, lift up into cobra. Open the heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg comes up. And ground your back heel down. Square the hips to the front of your mat. Inhale into warrior one from here. If this is too much on your back foot, you can do a high lunge here instead of warrior one. Exhale, frame the front foot, step it back, plank. Exhale, lower down onto your belly. Inhale, lift up into cobra. Exhale, tuck your toes under, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg steps forward, ground the back heel down, square the hips to the front of your mat. Inhale, lift your hands overhead for warrior one or high lunge, your choice. Exhale, frame the front foot, step it back, plank. Exhale, lower all the way down onto your belly. Inhale, lift your heart up, elbows close to the body. Exhale, release. Option here to come into upward facing dog. So we're lifting our thighs and hips off the ground. And exhale, pressing back into downward facing dog. Look between your hands and walk your hands a little bit closer to your feet. So here we're gonna shoot, so you can walk your hands towards your back feet, or if you want to try to shoot your hands back, so you're moving your weight into the hands and catching the momentum to bring your hands back into your, back towards your feet. And then plant your palms, move the weight into your hands, bend the knees and lean into crow pose, and just make few squats to mimic a crow pose to the front of your mat. We'll do this a few more times, so don't worry. And lift the hips, forward fold. Inhale, straight spine. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, Utkatasana, sit back, chair pose. Inhale here, exhale, stand up, hands to heart center. We'll do this flow one more time. Bend the knees, move your hips back, chair pose. Inhale, exhale, fold forward. Plant your hands, bend the knees, place your knees to your armpits, and start leaning forward a few times for a crow pose. Catching the balance, just see how your body feels in this shape. Forward fold, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step it back, plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, open the heart, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step your right foot back forward, ground the back heel. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, frame the front foot, step it back, plank. Lower down on your exhale, open up on your inhale. You got this. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg steps forward, ground the back heel down. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, frame the front foot, step it back, plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. And shoot your hands back or walk your hands towards your feet. This is a fun. You can try this a few more times after the class. Just see how it feels. And then plant your palms into your mat. Lean forward, bend the knees and lean your knees into your armpits like you want to do crow pose and start squatting to the front of your mat. This is a great practice for crow pose. When you come to the front of your mat, lift your hips up high. Inhale, find a straight spine, halfway lift, exhale, fold. Bend the knees, sit in your chair pose. Inhale, bring your hands over your head. Sit a little deeper and exhale, come all the way up, hands over heart. Inhale, now stretch up, lift your arms up over your head, stretch the belly. And exhale, hinge from the hips, come all the way down. Plant your hands, bend the knees, prepare for your crow pose here. So your knees come into your armpits, you're leaning forward. Now be steady and find a focal point just somewhere over the edge of your mat. And start leaning forward, see how it feels. And then maybe lift one leg, lift the second leg. If you're lucky, you want a little bit challenge, maybe both legs can come off the ground. Wherever you are, find a pose where you can keep 5 breaths. It will all happen one day. It's all just practice. Find your 5 breaths here, wherever you are. And release. Lift your hips up for forward fold. Slide your hands onto your shins and find your straight spine as you inhale and low back as you exhale. Step your feet back into plank pose. And let's do some knee tucks from here. So take your right knee into your left elbow and your left knee into your right elbow. And for 6 and 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1, downward facing dog. Exhale. Look between your hands, step or hop forward. Plant the weight into your palms, lean forward and come down into your crow pose. One leg, another leg, maybe 2 legs. Find your 5 breaths. Practice, practice, practice. We stimulate the lower belly so it's easier to lift up. Lift from your pelvic floor here and release down, forward fold. Inhale, look up. Exhale, fold, stepping back into plank. Now exhale into downward facing dog. Come onto your tippy toes. Inhale, high plank. Move with your lower belly. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Use your lower belly. High plank as you inhale and step or hop forward into forward fold. Place the weight into your hands, bend the knees and come into your crow pose. One leg, another leg, maybe 2 legs. Really engage through your pelvic floor, through your lower belly. Find the lift to make yourself lighter. Few breaths. And release back. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold and step it back into plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now right knee, come into plank, tuck your right knee to your left elbow, downward facing dog. And then left knee to your right elbow, exhale, downward facing. And few more like this. 6, 5, 4, you got this. Work with your lower belly. 3, 2, and last one. Hold it here. Exhale, downward facing dog. And now move your hands back on towards your feet. You can shoot the hands back. Then plant your weight into your hands, bend the knees, and move your knees to your upper arms for a final variation of crow pose. We'll engage through your pelvic floor. Try to lean forward, find your gaze, and see it as the legs come up. steady gaze, steady breath, round through your upper back. Exhale, release. Nice job, everyone. Come into your forward fold and prepare to stretch here. Now allow your upper body and your hands and your head just to hang from the hips and release down. Release your hands onto your mat and take the hold of your thumbs. Bend the knees if you need to and open your elbows to the side to stretch the upper back, to stretch the hands, to stretch the legs. Inhale, straight spine, look ahead of you. To go a little bit deeper, stand onto your palms. So move your palms underneath your soles of the feet. Bend the knees if you need to. This is a great stretch after so many planks and crow pose. Your body really needs this. Find your breath. And slowly release as you exhale. Then open your feet to the edge of your mat, toes are pointing out, and sit back down into Malasana yogic squat. So hips are down and lift your heart up. Place your hands in prayer between your knees, pressing into your inner knees to open the legs a little bit more. From here we're going to sit back. So lay on your back, keep the knees bent, feet flat on the ground. We're going to do 2 rounds of bridge pose to stretch the front of the body after all the rounding through the back that we did throughout the practice. So press into your feet and hands and lift your hips up high on your inhale. Press the back of your head into the mat so the chin is away from your chest, so you can breathe easier. And slowly release down, lowering your upper back, middle back, lower back, and the hips come the last. Take a few breaths on your back and prepare for a second round. Press into your feet, into your forearms, and lift your hips up as you inhale. Press the head back. You can roll your shoulders under, interlace your fingers and press your forearms into the ground to open the chest a little bit more, to counterbalance the practice. And slowly as you exhale, release your back and release your hips onto the ground. I'm gonna do a shoulder stand now. You can do legs at the wall if you don't want to do shoulder stand, just to do any version to counter pose. So if you're doing shoulder stand, bring your knee to the chest and lift your hips up high, supporting your hips with your arms. And now engage your legs and shoot your energy upwards towards the sky. So you're hugging your sitting bones in, really sending the energy up towards the ceiling. And find your 5 breaths here. The same as we did in bridge pose, you're pressing your back of the head into the mat so your shin is away from the chest. Transition into plow pose here, releasing your feet over your head. And then slowly, gently, when you're ready, roll on your spine and bring your feet in front of you for a Shavasana final pose. You can give your body a little stretch here, stretch your arms over your head, stretch your feet back, and then come to your Shavasana. Release everything out. Be heavy on the floor and just surrender to your mat. Release tension from your core area and soften your whole body. Thanks for joining me today, my friends. I hope I'll see you again. Namaste.